My name is Joseph Sanzo, and I'm an Associate Professor of History of Religions in the Department of Asian and North African Studies here at Kafouskouri University. My research and teaching interests center on ancient Mediterranean religions, languages, and cultures, with a particular emphasis on the so-called magical practices of early Christians in Egypt. For instance, the use of healing and protective amulets written in the Greek and Coptic languages, whose texts included divine invocations, biblical stories, and sacred names. Many of these amulets were originally worn on the body, typically suspended from one's neck. Although such objects might seem to us as strange or foreign, they address general human concerns. What do I do when I get sick? What do I do when I'm afraid? What do I do when someone harms me? In addition to my role as professor, I'm also the principal investigator of a European Research Council project hosted here at Kafouskouri entitled Early Jewish and Christian Magical Traditions in Comparison and Contact. This project examines the magical traditions of early Jews and Christians, including not only the Christian Egyptian amulets, but also Jewish incantation bowls written in the Aramaic language that come from Mesopotamia, many of which were discovered buried under houses. The project analyzes these materials as windows through which we might view social dynamics such as interreligious cooperation, assimilation, and differentiation, especially among early Jews and Christians. In keeping with my research interests, I teach a graduate course here at Kafouskouri on ancient Mediterranean religion and magic, which looks at the ancient texts, objects, rituals, and institutions that we typically associate with the categories religion and magic. For instance, holy texts such as the Bible, sacred spaces such as churches, synagogues, and temples, and ritual practices such as exorcisms, baptisms, and curses. As part of this course, we grapple with some key questions in the study of ancient religion, such as how might we speak of religion and magic as it relates to the ancient world? How did ritual performance figure in the people's daily lives in antiquity? How did they view sacred spaces or ritual purity? How did magical texts engage with the Bible and other sacred traditions? I'm also looking forward to offering new courses in the future, such as the history of the devil, which will trace the historical development of Satan from the many uses of the Hebrew term ha-Satan in the Hebrew Bible, for instance, as a kind of administrative or judicial accuser or even a trickster, to the name Satan with a capital S in our contemporary pop culture, a monstrous figure who represents the very embodiment of evil and destruction, who resides in hell and haunts our nightmares. I came to Kafouskouri through my European Research Council grant. Although I had considered several European universities as hosts for this grant, I was so impressed by the air of collegiality at Kafouskouri, as well as Kafouskouri's commitment to young researchers, that I decided to bring the grant here. I was also especially impressed by the breadth and depth of knowledge, disciplinary knowledge, of the Department of Asian and North African Studies. As a historian of religion, it is ideal to work alongside scholars whose research includes the study of religious traditions from regions that range from India to China to Japan to Israel to Armenia, just to name a few. In short, this is an ideal context to study religion. Venice is an interesting city for thinking about intercultural contact and exchange. When you walk throughout this city, you are immediately struck by the great diversity in language and in culture. Typically, there are numerous languages spoken in Venice at any given time, including not only Italian and English, but also Spanish, French, German, Japanese, Chinese, etc. The very layout of the city highlights this diversity and encourages intercultural contact. People from around the world are put into close contact with one another as they are funneled through the narrow streets of Venice. In this way, the city of Venice itself raises some of the very questions that my research engages with. How do the layout of the city and the circumstances and concerns of everyday life open up spaces and opportunities for intercultural contact and exchange. In other words, Venice is an ideal city for looking at the kinds of issues that motivate my research and teaching.